back to the Mathlete Information. Today is Monday, February 11, 2013, and we have been snowed in since Thursday. That being said, we've had a lot of free time to go outside and play in the snow and go sledding and watch television and Disney movies, and that also gave us time to watch the Grammys, which brings us to today's conversation, which is an open letter to Taylor Swift. So I'll admit Taylor Swift has made a very successful career out of bubblegum pop songs that I occasionally find myself singing in the shower. Let's admit it, we've all done it. And we all know that she's kind of notorious for using her lyrics and her songs to get back at ex-boyfriends and people that she thinks have wronged her in some way or another. Which brings us to the Grammys. So for those of you who did not watch the Grammys last night, Taylor Swift opened up the show with a very off-key performance of "We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together." Before you guys all go, oh, but she's performing live, oh, she was on stage, oh, she was nervous, oh, she's allowed to sound off key sometimes, let me remind you that A, she's a professional and should not sound nervous ever and that flat, and B, Fun also performed live and they were being rained on and they were jumping around and they still sounded awesome, so. But I digress. Taylor Swift's performance of that song with a really long name looked like it could have been a cross between Alice in Wonderland and Aaron Morgenstern's The Night Circus. Now that combination could have been amazing, but what they ended up with looked like it should have been played with creepy clown music in the background. It was kind of just off, it was disturbing, it was just creepy. But the real shocker of the performance wasn't the red and white cacophony of sound that she had going on. It was the monologue that she had in the middle of her song. It would be super hard for Taylor Swift to argue that she wasn't intentionally slamming One Direction's Harry Styles when she broke out her admittedly horrible British accent. So he calls me up and he's like, "Oh, I still love you." And I'm like, "Sorry, I'm busy opening up the Grammys and we are never getting back together." Okay, first of all, if you're going to insult somebody, do it properly. Your accent there was almost as bad as your acting in Valentine's Day, and yes, I went there. It was awful. It was absolutely horrendous. Second, and I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks this, but it seems like Taylor Swift is under the impression that if she plays the victim card enough times, then she'll like collect stamps or something and be able to redeem it for a 50% off coupon. This is ridiculous. And it's no secret that songs about sadness or friendship or exes or breakups or friend zoning or whatever, they do very, very well. They're super popular. Teardrops on My Guitar was my jam when I was 16 and still under the impression that any guy that I liked was required to like me back. And I will admit that I went through a phase when I would post song lyrics on Facebook in the hope that what's-his-name would see them not as shallow, petty statuses, but as declarations of love from a truly tortured teenage soul. In my defense of that, I was 16, and it was a phase that I went through and eventually got out of. At 21, I'd like to think that I'm more mature with my relationships and that I can actually handle talking with exes or crushes or whatever you want to call them like an adult, or at least more like an adult and less like a child. Taylor Swift made a name for herself by being a baby about breakups, and that's completely fine. I mean, she could have made herself famous by singing about days of the week or inquiring about potential callers, so she had a lot of options and she went the route that she did, and that's fine. But like how she slowly evolved from country to pop, she now needs to make that step between child and adult and start acting like someone who's mature enough to handle an actual relationship. She seems to be in the mindset of an extremely temperamental high schooler trapped in the body of a very successful, very beautiful, very rich 23-year-old. So to go back to the Grammys, calling out anybody at such a venue where music is supposed to be something that is celebrated and recognized as opposed to used as some kind of revenge prop is just immature. I mean, it is honestly juvenile. If anybody else had done it, they would have been called out immediately for being a bit abrasive. See what I did there? It's because I almost called her a bit. The point that I'm trying to make is that Taylor Swift is very, very annoying, and people should not be looking up to her as far as, you know, how to present themselves to the world and like how to grow up and be a mature, functioning person. Honestly, I kind of want her to stay in the limelight just long enough for all the people that she's ever dated to come together and form a boy band that just sings a song about her called Maybe It's You. I think that would be awesome. I think that would be something that I buy several times on iTunes and then on Amazon and then just everywhere. I would play it all the time. I'd never stop playing it. Basically, Taylor Swift, you need to grow up. Honestly, you're 23, not 13. You have a huge fan base of mostly young girls who all look up to you and want to be like you, and what you're teaching them is that if a boy doesn't like you, it's okay to react with anger and with maliciousness and to slut shame any girl that he might like instead of you. And that's unhealthy. That's not something you should be doing, ever. It's just wrong. Don't do that. No. Basically, in summary, you're tacky and I hate you. Best wishes, Caitlin. For the film majors, I'm Caitlin for the Mathlete, who's going to be here on Wednesday, and for everybody else, stay classy. And thanks for hanging out with us. Bye.